Astrodome in Houston, Texas. It's Mets Baseball 85. Tonight, the Mets take on the Houston Astros. Pitching for the Mets tonight, Dwight Gooden, who has won 5 and lost 1 with an ERA of 1.31. And going for the Astros, it's Joe Niekro, who's won 2 and lost 3 with an ERA of 2.31.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm Ralph Kiner along with Tim McCarver and Steve Zabriskie. All set inside here at the Astrodome. The Astrodome has been a jinx for the New York Mets over the years. Back in 1969, the Mets did not win a ball game here inside, and that was the year they became the world's champions of baseball. And here tonight, the Mets inside once again to start 6 ball games for the season here, and we hope things will be different for them as they start out in first place here with the best record in baseball. The Mets have the doctor going today, and the doctor does make inside house calls.
I should say, and he also gets inside on hitters, too. It was about a year ago when Dwight Gooden was the 4th starter in the rotation. He had his first major league start here in the Astrodome, and he beat the Houston Astros with his parents looking on by the score of 5-2. This year, it's his first time coming back to the Astrodome since that time, or at least coming back to, in a pitching assignment, and it should be interesting to see how the doctor handles the Houston Astros tonight, Ralph.
So we'll be looking at some aspirin tablets tonight, but right now let's go down to Steve Zabriskie.
Thanks, Ralph, and hi, everybody. Well, last night in Atlanta, the Mets won the ball game thanks in no small measure to the job contributed by Roger McDowell. Starter Calvin Schiraldi was hit on the toe by a batted ball back up the middle. Roger was called on relatively short notice and pitched a hitless 4 2/3 in relief to pick up his 3rd win of the year. He's been one of the many bright spots on the Mets pitching staff during this recent hot streak. And after what happened to him last year with arm surgery and missing virtually the entire season, he's just happy to be here in the major leagues.
Well, I think it's just fantastic just to be here in the big leagues and being able to pitch like I have successfully. The fastball, my sinker is working. That's what's got me here, and that's what's going to hopefully keep me here. And if I keep having outings like I did last night, hopefully I'll be here for a while.
I would think so. Because of what you went through last year, did you have special incentive this year to make the ball club and to do well?
Well, after last year, I came into spring training with the idea that I couldn't make the team. I knew the spots were scarce on the pitching staff, but I wanted to come into spring training and pitch as well as I could and let things go from there. Fortunately, I did pitch well, and Davey made the decision to take me north, and that's just the most fantastic things so far it's happened to me.
Pitching's really been carrying the club lately, and Roger McDowell, no small part of it, that's for sure. Well, the doctor's going tonight, and we'll be back with the start of the game here in the Astrodome right after this word from Bud Light.
Field. Inside here at the Astrodome, temperature about 76 degrees. Used to be held down to about 72, but during the energy crisis, they moved it up a little bit. And defensively for Houston, at first base, Dennis Walling. At second base, Bill Doran. The shortstop is Craig Reynolds. And at third base, Phil Garner. Out in left field, Jose Cruz. Jerry Mumphrey in center field. Terry Poole in right field. Alan Ashby, the catcher. And on the mound, Joe Niekro. Niekro with a record of 2 wins and 3 losses, an earned run average of 2.31. And he has a record of no wins and 1 loss against the Mets this year.
And the lineup for the New York Mets, Wally Backman will lead it off and play second base. Center fielder Mookie Wilson batting second. Keith Hernandez will be at first base and hit third. Gary Carter in the familiar cleanup position. And, of course, we'll do the catching. George Foster, the left fielder, batting 5th. Danny Heap will play right field and bat 6th. Ray Knight in there at third base tonight against the right-handed throwing Joe Niekro. Kind of a unusual move, as Howard Johnson has been starting against right-handers since the season began. Rafael Santana, the shortstop, batting 8th, and Dwight Gooden, the pitcher, will bat 9th.
And Joe Niekro, the knuckleballer, he has a T-shirt that he wears around. He says, "I'm Joe, not Phil." And between the two of them, they have won an awful lot of Major League Baseball games.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Mets and WOR-TV and is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audiences. Any publications, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and account of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets and WOR is prohibited.
Wally Backman, the leadoff for the Mets. Wally hitting at .273, no home runs, 3 RBIs. Wally's on-base percentage, .349 so far this year. And the knuckleballer, Joe Niekro, starts off with a knuckleball. It's ball 1. Niekro has walked 29 batters, and he has had 4 wild pitches. One of the things you look for when a knuckleball pitcher is on the mound. Tough to pitch, tough to catch, and tough to hit. And he gets a fastball, and it's fouled back.
Wally Backman in last night's ball game, a game won by the New York Mets over the Atlanta Braves 3-1, struck out 3 times. It's not too often you see Wally Backman, a good contact hitter, fan 3 times.
Did have a base hit, and he has now hit in 4 straight ball games. And the knuckleball out of the strike zone. The count 2 balls and 1 strike. On deck batter, Mookie Wilson.
Man, that last knuckleball danced around, didn't it?
Alan Ashby with a tough job of catching that knuckleballer. And another fastball, and it's fouled back out of play. So 2 knuckleballs, 2 fastballs, and the count 2-2. Joe Niekro will throw more other pitches than his brother Phil will throw.
And his other pitches are a lot better than his brother Phil's, too. Joe's 5 years younger than Phil.
And it's a breaking ball hit out to the first base side. And Backman is tagged out by Dennis Wally.
Like the rush hour down there around first base then. Joe Niekro almost runs into Dennis Walling. He's over there to cover first. Now watch this. Whoa, traffic cop. He tags out Backman.
And Darryl Strawberry looking on. He'll be looking on for about 8 weeks. They had that arm operation, wrist operation, where they repaired the torn ligaments that he injured. Tore up actually diving for a ball.
Talk about traffic cops. Darryl looks like a traffic cop down in Bermuda. They wear those white gloves down there, right?
And Mookie looks at a knuckleball. Mookie hitting .279, no home runs, 3 RBIs, leads the club in stolen bases with 10. That one driven deep to right field. Going back to play the ball off the wall is Terry Poole. He's unable to handle it. Mookie going to third. The throw into the cutoff man is not thrown on, and Mookie in with a 3-base hit.
Oh, what base running by Mookie Wilson. Almost every runner in the National League would have stopped at second, conceding a double. But watch and see why Wilson keeps going at second base. See, when that ball gets on the rug, it's got some giddy up on it. Wilson knows that. Takes Terry Poole a long time to track it down, and Wilson pulls into third base with a triple.
So Mookie Wilson.
There it is. You see Terry Poole taking a long time to get to that ball. Good base running by Wilson.
And Mookie picking up his 3rd 3-base hit of the year. That brings up Keith Hernandez, and Houston playing their infield in for a play at the plate. Knuckleball right through the strike zone, strike 1.
See, with Dwight Gooden on the mound for the Mets, that makes managers do a lot of strange things. Bob Lillis, the manager of the Astros, figuring that the Astros aren't going to score many runs against the Mets, I guess. It's unusual to play the infield in the first inning.
And it won't do any good as that ball's lined to center field. It is caught in center field, but Mookie tagging up at third comes in to score. So Mookie playing a good, wise base running feat as he tagged up to make sure the ball, even if it were caught, would not be able to trap him off at third base.
And it's a tough play for Wilson, too. That ball hit the rug first. That ball was not caught in the air, and that's one of the rules in baseball. You got to catch a ball before it hits the ground for it to be an out. It's a sac fly for Hernandez, but John Kibler, the second base umpire, did not make the proper call.
So the trap for the out, and now the Mets leading by a score of 1-0, and Gary Carter the batter. Gary hitting .242 with 5 home runs and 16 RBIs.
That was a tough call for John Kibler, but that's the second time in the last 4 games that umpires have missed trap balls against the Mets. Remember Lee Wire on the ball hit to left field against the Phillies last Friday night in Dwight Gooden's ball game.
One ball, 1 strike, and Carter fouls off the knuckleball, 1-2. With a runner on third and less than 2 out, Keith Hernandez has driven in the run 70% of the time that he has been up in his major league career.
That's incredible.
And you saw it happen again right here against a tough knuckleballer. He's coming through again. And there's a knuckleball, strike 3. So the Mets get one hit, no one left on base, and the score at the end of 1. The Mets 1, Houston coming up. 7-1. He's 1-0 against Houston. Beat Joe Niekro when they faced each other at the stadium at Shea Stadium. And he comes in with the league-leading home run average of 1.31. Dwight Gooden.
Lineup for the Astros. Bill Doran, the switch hitter, leading off. Right fielder Terry Poole batting second. Denny Walling batting .341 will hit third. Jose Cruz, always a tough out, batting fourth. Jerry Mumphrey, also a switch hitter, hitting fifth. Followed by Phil Garner, Alan Ashby, Craig Reynolds, and Joe Niekro.
And Gooden starts off with a fastball. Bill Doran batted .261 last year. So far this year, he's hitting .293 with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. And Gooden's fastball, a ball, 1 ball, 1 strike. Gooden won his first major league ball game right here in this ballpark about a year ago. And the fastball fouled back in the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. White leads the league in strikeouts with 56.
That was the 4th game of the year for the Mets last year. In that game, he worked 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, walked 2, and K'd 5. And as you said, Ralph got the win.
And the fastball again, and it's fouled away. During last year, he had only 4 home runs. So far this year, he's had 2. Brings a 10-game hitting streak into this game. Uncle Charlie called.
Man, talk about a lock job right here. Check this curveball, folks. Starts at the letters, ends up around the thighs. That's a big league jug, and here was a big league piece of hitting by Keith Hernandez. Now, you be the umpire. Straight on right there. Did this ball hit the turf first? Yep, just barely. Just barely. But you can understand the problem Kibler had looking straight on with that, Ralph, in that top of the first inning.
Yeah, it was a difficult call. There's no doubt about it, and they don't have the advantage of having the videotape replay.
Right.
Now it's Terry Poole, the batter, and he hits a ground ball to the second baseman, Wally Backman. Wally makes the play to first base for the out. Poole hitting .316 before the out, but no home runs and 7 RBIs.
I would imagine an umpire making a call like that would be similar to a center fielder having a ball hit right at him. You don't get really the angle on the ball, and an umpire doesn't get an angle on the call like that. It's certainly understandable that he missed it.
And now Dennis Walling, the batter. Dennis hitting .341, 2 home runs, 14 RBIs. Walling way over his norm as he gets off to a great start this year. As a team, Houston second in the National League in hitting at .261. Leads as a team, hitting at .265. And the strikeouts recorded on the ball out in the outfield. That was a good curveball again. It's strike 2.
Dwight's got all the knights of the road following him around, I guess.
All those Ks. Yeah, that's true. And the curve, it's hit well, and it will be fielded by Backman. A good play as he gets up throwing, and he throws out the runner. Fine play by Wally Backman at second base.
It's a big league play to come up with the ball, but it's an even better play to get back on your feet and make the strong throw. Good play, Wally Backman.
So Houston goes 1-2-3 with a strikeout for Gooden, and the score at Foster to lead off for the Mets here in the top of the second. On the mound, Joe Niekro, and Foster takes a fastball right on through. George hitting .246 for the year with 4 home runs, 11 RBIs. So far this year, he's 2 for 5 against Houston pitching. And the knuckleball, strike ball. They have shortened this ballpark up. They have moved the fences in. It's now 378 in left center field and right center field, 400 feet to straightaway center field, cutting the distances down about 10 feet.
Used to be 340 down the lines. Now it's 330, 386 to right and left center. Now it's 378.
foul ball and a check swing. The count stays at 1 ball and 2 strikes. On deck batter for the Mets, Danny Heath, former Houston ball player. Ground ball in the hole, cut off by Gardner, the third baseman, and Foster's out.
Catch the rising stars when the New York Mets take on the Houston Astros tomorrow night at 8:30 right here on Channel 9, the best seat in the house. And Phil Garner had the best seat in the house as he made that nice pickup right there, throwing on to Denny Wallen.
In the right place at the right time, one away, and that'll bring up Danny Heath. Danny, a former Houston ball player, traded to the Mets for Mike Scott, who will be pitching in tomorrow's ball game. Scott this year has a record of 1-1. It'll be Sid Fernandez against Mike Scott tomorrow. He hitting at .275, no home runs, 10 RBIs. And the knuckleball for ball 1. And the knuckleball, 1 ball, 1 strike. On deck batter for the Mets, Ray Knight. I don't know whether that's a blessing or not to get in the lineup against the knuckleball pitcher. And again, the knuckleball, and the count 2-1.
This is the first time this year that Ray Knight has started against a right-handed pitcher, as we said before the ball game. It's unusual for Ray. Usually he's platooned with Howard Johnson at third base.
And a high fly ball to deep right field. It could be gone. It is going. It is gone. Goodbye. Heath with his first home run of the year, and the Mets lead 2-0.
How about that, sports fans? The Houston Astrodome is shortened up this year. Danny Heath with his first home run of the year on a fastball. Man, he got all of it. But in the old ballpark, or I should say this is the same ballpark with a new fence, wouldn't have been a home run. Which it hit right there. It hits that back wall. It would have been in there for extra bases, but not a home run. So the fence gave Danny Heath a home run.
And now Ray Knight, the batter. Ray hitting at .147 for the year with no home runs and 2 RBIs. Negro back and missing, and the count 2 balls, no strikes. That is only the second home run hit off Joe Negro this year. And a drive to left field, a base hit. So evidently, Davy Johnson knew something when he put Ray Knight in there against the right-hander. Normally it would have been Howard Johnson.
I think Davy's computer's working, huh? He got it on the road. Yeah.
The computer said Ray Knight.
Well, of course, Ray Knight did play with Joe Negro, so that may have entered Davy's thinking also, as he is being reverse platooned tonight.
And it brings up Rafael Santana. Santana hitting .211, 1 home run, 6 runs batted in. And it's ball 1.
I say send him right here. Ray Knight doesn't have good speed. The Mets have the Astros on the run. Good hit and run situation, because Santana probably will get something other than to break the knuckleball.
And so he doesn't go, and it's ball 2. Now another good shot.
Yeah, and if he throws in the knuckleball, that's even tougher, because Alan Ashby, a lot of times when you go in there, that glove is so big you can't find the ball. You come up with leather all the time.
For the Mets, and the home run by Danny Heath. 2 hits, no one left on base. The score at the end of 1.5 innings. The Mets, bottom of the second. The Mets leading 2-0. And coming in for the play-by-play, Tim McCarver.
All right, Ralph. The Mets certainly having more success than the clubs that I played on had in this ballpark. Joe Zampito, the ex-Astro. I say that because the Mets won 5 of 6 contests against the Astros last year here at the Dome. And the batter, Jose Cruz, batting .341. Fine player. 1-0 to Chale.
Cruz with a lifetime batting average of .287 coming into this year with 134 home runs.
Fouls this one back, 1-1.
Cruz also has had a lot of stolen bases. 294 going into this season. And we say it a lot, but it certainly is true. He is one of the most underrated ball players in the game.
Swing and a miss at the high rider, 1-2. Jose Cruz hoping his name lives in perpetuity here in Houston, the Astrodome. Taps this one toward Ray Knight at third. And he throws out Jose Cruz. One away here in the second inning. The batter, Jerry Mumphrey. I say live in perpetuity because of his children's names. He has 4 children: Jose Javier, Jose Cheito, Jose Enrique, and Shakira. So he has 3 children named Jose. They got 4 Jose's in the family, huh? Jerry Mumphrey swinging and missing, batting .257.
Mumphrey, a good year last year for Houston, hitting .290 with 9 home runs.
Came over from the Yankees in 1983 for Omar Marino. Cut fastball is down and in, 1-1. 2-0. New York leads. Dwight Gooden against Joe Niekro. Gooden going for his 6th win of the year. Ball hit well to left. There's Foster playing him perfectly. 2 out. 5 in a row retired by Gooden. And the batter Phil Garner batting .262. Scrap iron has 1 home run and 12 RBIs. Very popular player.
Batted .278 last year for Houston. As you look at Dave Johnson, just get a glimpse of it.
Jams him with a fastball, so it's 0-1 to Phil Garner. You know, I would think you'd face Dwight Gooden. Look at that. Jesse Orozco's got a new nose. He knows. Is that bubble gum around his nose?
I hope not. That's got to hurt.
0-2 to Garner. Oh, that's great. Breaking ball through the middle, base hit. First hit of the ball game for the Astros. So Garner at first base, 2 out, and the batter Alan Ashby. Ashby batting .264 this year, batting .182 left-handed and .400 right-handed. That's very unusual for last year. He batted .303 from the left side and only .200 from the right side. So he's turned it around, I guess you could say. Fastball outside, 1-0 to Alan Ashby. Allen came to the Astros in '78 from Mark Lemongello, Joe Cannon, and Pedro Hernandez from the Toronto Blue Jays. The doctor with that improved move to first base.
He's picked 3 runners off first base this year.
And has committed no balks in the process. Fly ball to center field. It's deep, but Wilson's there for the 3rd out. So the Astros have a hit. They strand a runner here in the 2nd. But after 2, they trail the Mets 2-0. Now, here's a word for the way it appears in this bizarre, strange, wonderful place, the 8th wonder of the world, the Astrodome here in Houston. Dwight Gooden will lead off the 3rd. Dwight is 4 for 17 this year. He's been getting his knocks.
He almost got knocked right there. Look knuckleball breaking all over the place.
That thing can make you look foolish. Dwight will get something other than the knuckleball here, I surmise. And he does, and fouls it back. 1-1.
You know what always amazes me about Phil Niekro and Joe Niekro and most knuckleball pitchers? They throw that knuckleball 70 to 80% of the time, and then they go to a slider or a fastball, and they get that other pitch over. It always amazes me how they can do that.
Because their grip completely different as Gooden gets out of the way of the knuckleball. One is held with the fingertips, and the slider and fastballs held where they fingerprint you. There's a good slider there. 2-2 to Gooden. Joe, 195, 170 lifetime, vying to become the all-time leader for the Astros. Garner guns out Gooden, 1 out.
In the National League, Pittsburgh defeated the Giants 3-2. Final score there. The Reds and Expos are playing in the 5th inning. It's the Expos 1, the Reds nothing. At the end of 5 innings, it's the Braves nothing, the Phillies nothing. The Braves still can't score runs. They scored only 2 runs in 54 innings prior to that ball game. Cardinals later against the Padres, and the Cubs later against the Dodgers.
All right, Ralph, and we'll try to keep you apprised, folks. All the scores in both leagues throughout the course of the evening. I guess with the Phillies and the Braves having problems scoring runs, you would think it would be 0-0 in the 6th inning. What about those Braves now? How's that stand?
Well, they went in at 56, and they now would be 61 innings with only 2 runs scored.
Breaking ball is low to Wally Backman.
It's got to be the all-time record.
No, Bob Gibson in 1968 gave up only 2 runs, one of which was earned over 95 innings. But, of course, that was pitching against a lot of opponents. 1-1. 2-0. New York leads. Backman entered the game batting .273. The dancer, 2-1. Look how big that glove is that Ashby has. Down and in, fastball, and it's foul. So we'll do it again. 2-2 to Wally Backman. Pretty big target he gives back there, isn't it?
Uses that as a shield. They give Paul Richards credit for developing that big glove, but he did not do it. It was the cat, Harry Burkeen, who did it. Came up with that. Paul Richards gets the credit as you look at former Houston ball player Rusty Staub.
Of course, Clint Courtney was one of the first guys to use it, wasn't he?
Gus Triandos.
Gus Triandos, yeah. In Baltimore. Breaking ball. It's going to be a tough play for Reynolds, and he can't make it. 38 hopper up the middle for Backman. He has his first hit, and the Mets have their 4th hit of the night.
Well, the base hit extends Backman's hitting streak to 5 games. This is a typical artificial turf base hit. Everybody running for it, the ball bouncing on through in the center field. So Wally is on a threat to steal with the knuckleballer pitching, and Mookie Wilson comes up.
Wilson hit a triple his first time up and scored on a sacrifice fly by Hernandez. Good base running by Wilson in the process. Pitch out. Alan Ashby thinking right along with you, Mr. Kiner. Sometimes you talk a team into hitting and running. You pitch out and you wake them up. Say, wait a minute, what are we supposed to be doing? We'll see if they talk Davey Johnson into it. Mookie, not a contact hitter. Niekro stepping off. It's a great part of the game, isn't it? All the strategy that's involved in trying to combat the stolen base. Backman not running, and the fastball is outside, so Niekro in the hole, 2-0. Backman on first. And there he goes. As Wilson fouls it off.
Got a good jump. He had second base stolen, but Mookie unable to keep that bat from going around. He fouls off the fastball. 2-1 the count. Bobby Valentine sending the signs in to Mookie Wilson.
May run him again here. 2-1. Not much of a chance for a pitch out, because if you pitch out, you run it to 3-1. Joe throws to first base. Joe Niekro. Backman not running, and Wilson grounds towards second. Reynolds safe at first base. Wilson hustling all the way. Ball was not hit sharply to double Wilson. 2 out.
Well, he made a good move on this ball. Bill Doran gets it to the shortstop Reynolds in time with a perfect throw, but Reynolds unable to double up Mookie Wilson. Backman running on the pitch, but no chance to do much at shortstop. He does make Reynolds get out of the baseline just enough to use up some time to give Mookie a chance to get down to first.
When you're sliding into second base, you must be able to touch the bag.
Well, they can give you a double play.
Otherwise, it's interference. There goes Wilson. Knuckleball. Safe at second base. They might have tagged him out, and they did. Wilson slid off the bag, and an alert Bill Doran kept the tag there. So Mookie is thrown out, and the inning's over.
Well, a quick look at it once again. Mookie beats the throw. He slides into the bag, but then he comes off. Good call by Kibler. Now his foot comes off, and there it is.
Good call by John Kibler. Certainly was.
And once again, from this angle, Reynolds takes the throw and then stays right on the runner as he comes off the bag. That was an excellent call.
John Kibler staying right with him. And after 2.5, we'll stay right with him. As batter's going to be Craig Reynolds, who's batting .288. Fastball misses inside. 1-0 to the local product. Craig Reynolds from Houston.
And he has replaced Dickie Thon at shortstop. Dickie Thon hitting only .218 after being beamed by Mike Torres here early in the season.
Tried to check, but he couldn't, and Ray Knight makes the catch.
Oh, Mookie coming down on that attempt of stolen base. And he gets in there, kind of an awkward-looking slide, but he comes off the bag, and the tag is made. And Kibler explained it to Mookie Wilson.
Mookie rarely complains. That play, of course, ending the third inning, the top of the third, and the batter's Joe Niekro. Swing and a miss. Niekro's batting .313. He's 5 for 16 on the year. Fine athlete. Strike with the heater. Oh, it's 0-2 to Niekro. We were talking between innings, Ralph, and try to keep our fans informed. It doesn't appear that Gooden is throwing as well as we're used to seeing. As Niekro taps towards second, Backman throws him out. 2 out.
Gooden with only 1 strikeout so far in this game. In the American League, Oakland clobbered the Brewers 19-3. At the end of 3, it's the Yankees 3 and the Rangers nothing. Tie ball game. Angels and Blue Jays tied at 2 in the 5th. 1-0 Mariners over the Red Sox in the 5th. Orioles 2 and the Indians nothing in the 2nd. No score. The Orioles against the White Sox. That ball game is in the 1st. And the Tigers against the Twins later on.
And Bill Doran taps the first pitch foul. Don Leppert, the first base coach, throws it out, and it's 0-1 to Bill Doran. Astros have 3 switch hitters in the lineup tonight. Doran, Jerry Mumphrey, and Alan Ashby. Curveball high. Doran struck out his first time up. Gooden leads the National League and the Major Leagues in strikeouts. He has 57 now. Nolan Ryan and Jose De Leon came into this game with 55 strikeouts. Doran in the hole, 1-2.
Nolan Ryan with 3,929 strikeouts in his Major League career. All-time high.
In second place, Steve Carlton of the Phillies at game in the 7th inning in Atlanta. Carlton against Bedrosian, 0-0. And it's 2-2 to Doran. Carlton entering that game 0-3 and has fallen well behind Nolan Ryan.
He started out 2 strikeouts behind Ryan at the start of the year.
Bill fouls it back again, so it's still 2-2.
And there's Nolan Ryan. Ryan, very profound when he said the strikeout is a gauge of talent, but it is not a gauge of success. He should know better.
Check that isometric exercise Nolan's doing for his shoulder. Few guys have thrown as hard for as long as Nolan Ryan. Fastball just misses. 3-2.
Ryan with a lifetime record of 233 wins, 208 losses, 5 no-hit, no-run games.
That is a major league record. Doran pops it up. Is it playable? Carter can't get to it. Just out of reach. Gary had to tiptoe through that muck.
Muck and mire.
Yeah. The batting circle there had the weights there, the pine tar, the rosin bag, the leaded bat. Check that out. Tough enough to catch. Now they got to throw all those obstacles out there.
Where is the bat boy? He's supposed to have those things picked up. That's terrible. He could break a leg on that.
Telling you. 3-2 to Doran. Stays alive. Bill's on a 10-game hitting streak. Batted .370 over that time. He's been hot with the bat, as have these Astros. Another pop-up. Is this playable? Oh, just out of the reach of Gary Carter. Hang with him, Gary.
Well, Gary comes over here and he runs into the facade. Jars him up a little bit right there, and now he can't get back to the ball. Boy, that's got to hurt, too. That stuff doesn't give. They asked him if he was all right. He shakes his head. Yeah, I'm okay.
Did have the shin guards on, but he took a little jar to the right knee, and that's one thing he nor the Mets need. Darryl Strawberry's on the DL with a torn ligament in his right thumb. It's in a cast. John Leopard. The older coaches never throw that ball back into play. They always want a pitcher to work with a new one, right? Another foul ball. And that's kind of an indication, Ralph, of what we were saying about Gooden not throwing as well.
Well, Steve did a little work on Darryl Strawberry.
Steve Garland. I don't know really what he can do until that thing is done, though. A little massaging over there. Dwight Gooden, 22-10 lifetime. Not only does he lead the National League in strikeouts with 57, his ERA is 1.13. Bill Doran has a good at-bat. Ekes a walk out of Dwight Gooden, and the batter's going to be Terry Poole in this 2-0 game. Mets lead.
Poole was on the disabled list the last time the Mets played Houston. Just got off.
Batting .316, the first year of a 4-year contract for Terry. Not bad for a guy who never played high school baseball, from Melville, Saskatchewan. Curveball outside, 1-0. Poole grounded to second base his first time up. Terry holds the all-time high batting average in National League Championship Series play. He was 10 for 19 in 1980 when the Astros played against the Phillies. 4 stolen bases. However, he's been caught 4 times. Tim McCarver along with Ralph Kiner and Steve Zabriskie from the Astrodome in Houston. There's a strike, 1-1.
Now, the Astros are not too successful in their stolen base attempts. They're only 50%. They've had 14 out of 28 tries.
Conversely, the Mets with 27 out of 35 have one of the higher ratios, 77% successful. Poole fouls it off. That's back in the stands. So it's 1-2 to Terry Poole. Terry, a big hockey fan, naturally. I don't think I've ever met somebody from Canada who wasn't a big hockey fan. The national sport up in our neighbors in the north. There goes Doran, and now he stops. This ball lifted to left field. George Foster there, and he makes the catch. So a relatively easy inning for the doctor. As he walked one, the Astros came up with no hits. They stranded a runner, and after 3, it's the Mets 2 and Houston nothing. Houston Cougars back in the middle 60s. Steve Zabriskie. Here he is with 10-2 speed, pal.
Oh, thank you very much, Tim. Not anymore. Keith Hernandez to lead it off for the Mets. Top of the 4th inning with New York out in front, 2-0. Hernandez with a sacrifice line drive to center field. Takes the ball. Here's the play, his first time up.
Keith Hernandez lined this one to Jerry Mumphrey in center with Mookie Wilson on third base. Seems like the more we see that, the more it looks like Mumphrey catches it. I think that's trick photography. Never know that Bill Webb will test you occasionally.
And John Kibler only had one chance to look at it. Hernandez drove in a run with that sacrifice line drive, his 19th of the year to lead the club. Down low. 3-0 now to Keith. Niekro has not yet walked a batter. He's a struck out only 1, allowed 2 runs on 4 hits. And he walks Hernandez on 4 straight pitches. So the Mets have a leadoff batter on here in the 4th.
I think Ralph brought up an interesting point earlier, something I really never thought about. How do you throw a knuckleball and then a fastball and a slider? 2 completely different pitches. Well, it's the time of year where everybody's exercising. Maybe that's the reason. Learn more about shaping up on a News 9 special report tomorrow on News 9 at noon.
Gary Carter, the hitter. Carter, a strikeout victim on the knuckleball to end the 1st inning. Got a hold of this one and hits it high in the air to short left center. Mumphrey coming in makes the catch. And Hernandez, who was playing halfway, will go back to first, 1 away.
Just the situation there is when you're pushing the knuckleball, actually it's held with the fingertips, and then you hold it like normal mortals do, and you control both of them very well. But yet they're 2 completely different styles of pitches. Knuckleballer and then the fastball slider. It's an interesting point, I think.
Maybe the key is that you learn the other pitches first. For example, didn't Joe Niekro go to the knuckleball later in his career?
1976.
So he already had experience and knowledge of throwing the other pitches and added the knuckleball on. But I mean, still the mechanics of it.
Yeah, but I mean, wouldn't it stand to reason that since he threw the knuckleball, that the other stuff might be out the window? Maybe. But to maintain the other stuff while he still maintains the knuckleball is kind of neat.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Foster grounded to third his first time up. George hitting .243. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Hernandez at first base. Right in there. 1-2.
Well, if Niekro falls behind in the count, you can beat him, because then if he has to rely on his other stuff, while it's better than his brother Phil's, it's still not as good as most guys' fastball slider.
And he strikes out Foster with a fastball for the second out of the inning. Second strikeout for Niekro.
Was a heater on the outside corner. That's an unusual pitch. The 1-1 pitch was a fastball. Kind of unusual since his knuckleball was dancing around as much. Maybe they thought the Mets were going to run, but if you're going to do that, you'd pitch out, wouldn't you? I would think.
While you're ahead in the count, particularly. Danny Heap takes one inside. Heap hit a home run, his first of the year, his last time up, over the right field wall to give the Mets their 2-0 lead. Joe Niekro with a victory can move into the all-time Houston Astro lead for career victories for a pitcher. He's tied right now with Larry Dierker. They both had 137 victories in a Houston uniform. But Niekro trailing here 2-0. And another strike.
Fastball in tight. It's even more unusual. Right on the corner. It's not where the catcher catches it. That ball's right on the corner. It's more interesting with Heap because Heap hit a home run on a fastball last time up. Look at him continue to finger that seam right there with the middle finger and the forefinger on his right hand. There it was.
The dancing lady danced outside. 2-2. But if you do have a good fastball, and let's face it, most knuckleball pitchers don't. Joe may be the best of any of them around right now. It certainly becomes more effective after looking at that knuckleball. And especially if you happen to be looking for the knuckleball as you get the fastball.
Well, that's not too often, though.
No.
Of course, it might have been the case with George Foster. Way behind on the fastball with the 1-2 count. Watch Joe finger that seam with that forefinger and middle finger. Quick, wasn't it?
Grounded right off the plate. Niekro back to get it. He fumbles it, but gets the throw to first in time. Almost dropped it, but he gets Heap to end the inning.
Yeah, he did. He kind of double clutches here. It's like he was going to throw a knuckleball to Walling at first. Now he gets the heater to get Heap.
No runs, no hits, a walk, and one left in the fourth for New York. The Mets still lead it 2-0 after 3. Fourth has taken 2 pitches from Dwight Gooden to count 2 balls and no strikes. Walling retired on a beautiful play by Wally Backman his first time up. Fouls this one back, and it's 2-1. Backman took a base hit away from Walling, who's been red hot. 371 over the last 21 games. His average now at 337 after that out in the first inning. And he's driven in 14 runs in the last 21 games. He drives this one to left, and Foster's on his horse, but he won't catch up to it. Short hops the wall, and Walling will be in with a double. So Walling continues to have a hot bat.
I mean, he crushes this ball and didn't really have a big swing. He just kind of top hands it and flicks it. About 370 feet from home plate. Good piece of hitting by Denny Walling. He is strong.
And that's already his 9th double of the year. And here's Jose Cruz. Jose grounded to third his first time up. Cruz hitting .378 over the last 11 games, is hitting .339 overall. Big swing, no contact on the fastball. Walling with his 9th double, now tied with Tim Wallach of Montreal, behind Gwynn, Hayes, Parker, and Ray, who lead the National League with 10 doubles apiece. So Walling up among the league leaders. One strike. A ground ball to second. This will advance Walling to third as Backman throws out Jose Cruz. And it's time for Mets trivia. as we do regularly here in the 4th inning. California's Reggie Jackson, listen carefully, Mr. McCarver, is one of only 2 active players who have hit 30 or more home runs with 3 different clubs. You know who the other player is who has hit 30 or more homers with 3 different clubs? Jackson is one, and the other active player is... We'll think about it for a while, and we'll flash the answer upon the screen momentarily.
Oh, okay.
Jerry Mumphrey flied to Foster in left back in the 2nd inning. Grounded foul, strike 1. 2-0 New York leading here in the bottom of the 4th. 1 out. Denny Walling, having led off with a double, is now at 3rd base.
Kind of unusual to hit 30 home runs with 3 different clubs, because if you hit it with 1 club, they usually don't want to get rid of you.
Exactly right.
But in the days of free agency, that has changed. So I would think that it would probably be in the last 15 years or so, 10 or 15 years.
That is correct.
Somebody has done it.
Fouled back off Carter. Jerry might have taken that one on the glove thumb. 0-2 the count on Mumphrey. Mumphrey, a .305 career hitter against the New York Mets. Gooden has only struck out 1 through 3 1/3 innings. He has walked 1. He has allowed just 2 base hits. Straight fastballs up and away, and the count now 2-2.
I passed plane geometry in high school when I was a sophomore at CBC in Memphis, because I was able to look on Tommy Sain's paper occasionally. And Mr. Kiner has just slid the name to me.
No credit will be given. Backman near the bag, but the run scores as Walling comes in from 3rd. Mumphrey picks up his 18th RBI on the ground out. And it's 2-1 New York. Are you? All right, here's a question again. We'll give you a chance to. The only other player other than Reggie Jackson among active players to hit 30 or more homers with 3 different ball clubs. Who is it?
I'll tell you who I was going to guess. I was going to guess Jason Thompson.
Good. That would have been the next one.
Well, but it would have been wrong.
It would have been
too.
incorrect.
I mean,
right.
Wally Backman would have been the same guess, and he's been with the Mets. But the answer is Dave Kingman.
That is correct.
Okay. Mr. Kiner gave it to me.
David hit 30 for the Mets, the Cubs, and the A's. Of course, he did that 30 with the A's last year.
I know you're dying to know what Tommy Sain ended up doing, right?
Yeah, did he pass, or
he skipped the 12th grade and went to Yale, made the dean's list.
You were looking on the right paper, partner.
I was sitting right there. I was sitting next to the right guy, baby.
Looks like you had that one planned all along.
Luck of the draw. Otherwise, I might not be here.
Still be taking geometry.
I hated plain geometry.
Bill Garner singled the center his first time up. Garner hitting .269, and he walked. So Gooden has now walked more than he has struck out. His second walk, and he still only has 1 K. 2 out now with Garner at first and a run in. And the hitter will be Alan Ashby, who will fly deep to Mookie Wilson just short of a warning track in center field back in the 2nd. You heard the term a 5th-year senior?
Uh-huh.
You would have been a senior for 5 straight years.
Well, I'd have graduated. I mean, I'd have done everything else all right. Biology gave me a few problems. Plain geometry. I mean, I'm telling you, I had no use for that thing.
Smoke back up the middle by Ashby. A base hit as Garner rounds. He's trying for 3rd. And Mookie will throw to 2nd base. The Astros have runners on the corners with 2 out.
I mean, this is a BB back through the middle. And Phil Garner probably was good at plain geometry because he turned the corner well and went to 3rd. He is there at the hypotenuse.
of that right triangle.
But Ralph and I picked up on it seriously, Steve, about Dwight, and he does not appear to have his real good stuff tonight.
No, he doesn't. He got the breaking ball over early, but he seems to have gone away from that as well. His fastball doesn't have the hop on it. It usually has. And here's Craig Reynolds, who popped out to third baseman Ray Knight back in the third inning. 2-1. The Mets leading. 2 out in the fourth. Runners at first and third. Fastball jammed him, and Santana will take it, and the inning is over. A run on 2 hits as Walling leads off with a double and scores. The Mets still lead it 2-1 after 4 here in the Dome.
Mets are shopping for more runs here, aren't they?
Need a little extra insurance. A 2-1 ball game. The Mets, of course, have done very well in one-run affairs. They are 10-3 in one-run games. 13 of their 29 previous games decided by 1 run. Ray Knight will lead it off. Rafael Santana, and then Gooden scheduled up third. Knight single to left with a line drive, his first time up. Knuckleball dances in there for strike 1.
They're also 8-5 in the daytime and 12-4 at night. Now, what is this we're playing here?
This is artificial.
Like a basket of artichokes. They all look the same in this place. Huh?
That's right. Were you ever in here when the Dome first opened before they painted the ceiling?
Oh, yeah.
That was a booger, wasn't it? Trying to see the ball. A day game in here before they painted the ceiling, and you can forget it. Fouled right off the end of the bat, and the count 1-2. Of course, they had grass in here originally. This is the 20th anniversary of the Astrodome this year, opened in 1965. And the grass was supposed to be specially designed along with the lucite panels in the roof to allow it to grow in here. But then when they found out they couldn't see the ball, they had to paint the roof, and then the grass died.
Kind of like playing in a terrarium here at first. The Astro terrarium. That wouldn't have run through.
Ashby just did corral that knuckleball. 2-2.
Caught that with his elbow.
Pitched it. All that big glove, and you still can't get it to go in there sometimes. Fouled away. 2-2. But if it were not for the fact that they painted this ceiling and killed the grass in here, we might not have artificial turf, because it was commissioned then by Judge Roy Hoffines, owner of the Houston Sports Association, for the Monsanto company to come up with something that would work in here, and that's how we got Astro turf, which is where it's got its name. And now all the other types of artificial turf. 3-2. Rafael Santana on deck. Ray Knight leading it off in the top of the 5th. Hopped up behind home plate, but out of play. Count still 3-2. I think one reason Davey might have Ray in there against the right-hander is, as you mentioned earlier, Tim, the fact that he, like Rusty Staub, whom you see there, used to play for the Astros, and a lot of times guys like Danny Heat, who hit a home run here against his former team, and Ray Knight, seem to do quite well against their former ball club.
You know them, and they know you. I think you have a bit of an edge.
Knight works out a walk after a good at bat to lead off the 5th inning. Second walk issued by Niekro.
Plus, I think, and probably even more pertinent, when you're traded from a ball club, regardless of the circumstances involved, whether it's a bitter feeling when you leave, good feeling, professional feeling, no animosity, whatever it is, you still want to come back and do well against the ball club from whom you were traded. And the big thing you have to do is try to key it down so you're not trying too hard. It's one of the traps.
Start pushing. Santana takes low for ball 1. Rafael lined into a double play as Walling picked his liner right off of the turf with Ray Knight at first base, and then stepped on the bag to double up Knight and ended the 2nd inning. Runner going, and right through the hole, a perfect hit and run, and Knight will go to third base as Poole comes up with the ball, and and a hit and run executed to perfection. And the Mets are in business, up by a run here in the 5th with runners at first and third and nobody out.
Ralph Kiner and I thought they were going to do this the first time Knight was on first base. But you know what that hit and run does? It makes you a better hitter if you get a good pitch to hit, because your head is right on the ball. If Bill Webb could run that back one more time and watch Rafael Santana's head, that head was right on that low fastball. Look at that head right now. You know you have to make contact, and you can see the head going right toward right field, head down on the ball, and that's what makes good hitters. And that was a good piece of hitting by Santana.
Now the doctor up there. First and third and nobody out. Breaking ball way outside. Ball 1. Gooden grounded to third his first time up. Checking out with Bobby Valentine to see if the play is on. Knight at third. Santana at first. Late cut and a late break and missed it 1-1.
Astro infield does something. As a matter of fact, they've innovated this move. They're playing in double play depth, and then with the pitch, they'll move in a little bit. Bill Doran, as you see in your screen, is really a little more shallow than he would normally be for double play depth. So if the ball's hit to him, he may come home.
And a ground ball to third. Garner has Knight hung up between third and home. Ray going to try and get a run down long enough for Santana to get to third and Gooden to second, and he does it. Knight did his job. Santana came all the way around from first, and Gooden kept hustling all the way to second. Knight kept the play going long enough.
Well said, my friend. Phil Garner gives the ball a little bit too quickly to Alan Ashby, and now Ashby gives it too quickly to Phil Garner. Now all of this time allows Santana alertly to go to third base. Excellent base running by the Mets, and a poor rundown performance by the Astros.
5-2-5 is the scoring on the fielder's choice, and the Mets give up and out to get 2 runners in scoring position for Wally Backman.
Just like a sacrifice.
Exactly. Backman 1 for 2, grounded to first, and then single to center in the third. Now with a 5-game hitting streak. He came into the game hitting .309 over the last 18 games.
Now, luck's a residue of design. The reason the Mets have been winning, they've won 7 of their last 8, is because they've been doing a lot of little things well. Back in the first inning, Mookie Wilson taking the extra base, turning a double into a triple, and scored on a sacrifice fly by Keith Hernandez. As you look at Bob Lillis flashing the signs to Alan Ashby, the catcher. And now another good base running play by Ray Knight. Yet to be capitalized upon, however.
Pitch out. Looking for a squeeze play. The sign action you saw from Lillis. He made the call.
I think a lot of managers would put a pitch out then on because they would maybe squeeze in a situation like this.
Knuckleball, called a strike. Dang it. It's the only pitch where the catcher dives behind the hitter and the pitcher gets a strike call.
That's almost what that knuckleball will do.
That's right. It gets strikes on wild pitches. 2 balls, 1 strike on Wally.
Liable to get it again, too, because first base is open. But I don't think this is any kind of squeeze situation. You're facing a knuckleball pitcher. It's tough to bunt. Plus, a base hit scores 2 runs.
Line ball, right center field. It could be deep enough to score the runner from third. Santana tags as Mumphrey makes the throw. He will come home as Gooden holds at second, and Wally Backman drives in his 4th run of the year to give the Mets now a 3-1 lead.
Good piece of hitting by Wally Backman, the knuckleball. He gets it just deep enough to score Santana. And all that finagling at third base between third and home by Ray Knight has come in handy, because it nets the Mets at least 1 run.
Gooden still at second. Now with a 2-run lead, and here's Mookie Wilson, who has tripled and reached on a fielder's choice. Line drive, base hit into the gap. Poole over to cut it off. Gooden will score, and it's 4-1 New York. Mookie drives in his 4th run of the year. Mookie Wilson, red hot. Came into the game hitting .320 over the last 6, and he is 2 for 3 tonight.
Good piece of hitting right here. A knuckleball that floats away, and Mookie rips it to right center. Gooden scoring easily. Now 4-1 ball game, and Wilson a threat to steal. He stole on the first pitch the last time up. Slid off the bag. We'll see what he does this time.
And your point further illustrated, Timmy, is the fact that now both of those runners have scored.
Yep.
Keith Hernandez has not yet officially been to bat. Drove in a run with a sacrifice fly to center in the first inning and walked in the 4th. After the conference between Walling and Niekro throws one over there and hold Mookie close. Take the mortgage and bet it right here?
No.
I don't think so.
So I gave you a late answer.
Well, I didn't necessarily mean on that pitch.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. He will be running.
Frank DiPino getting up and starting to loosen for Houston in the bullpen. Closer play as Mookie had a little bigger lead.
One of the reasons Mookie has been sliding feet first is because of that bad right shoulder of his. It takes wear and tear to dive back like that.
2 balls, no strikes. Hernandez hitting .292 on the year, .313 over the last 14 games. Ball 3, Mookie running, and the throw is in time, but Mookie got by. That time he also slid off the base, but Reynolds was headed for right field.
For Mookie Wilson, his 200th career steal. Open the gate. Watch this. Whoa! Last time Bill Doran stayed on the bag, and this time Craig Reynolds doesn't stay with the tag. Open the gate. Whoa, Mook. Get back there. All right.
Mookie's 11th stolen base of the year, and the Mets have stolen now 29 out of 38, and they're going to go ahead and walk Hernandez with the count at 3-0 to put runners at first and second. So Keith walks for the second time, this one intentional. The third walk issued by Niekro. The Mets have plated 2 here in the 5th, but with 2 out, they have runners at first and second for Gary Carter, who has struck out and flied to center. Knuckleball catches the corner. Carter didn't agree. That pitch has to be almost as tough on an umpire as it is on a catcher.
Yep, and a hitter. Tough on all 3 guys in your picture there. Maybe all 4.
Swing and a miss for strike 2.
It's almost like you changed the name from a catcher to a blocker.
Just knock it down.
Yeah, single wing formation. You remember the old blocking back?
That's right.
Lined up between the in and the tackle.
Just get in front of him. 2 strikes on Carter. Carter punched out for the second time in the game. 3rd strikeout for Niekro ends the Mets half of the 5th. But they have scored 2 on just 2 hits, and they lead. Kevin Bass is pinch hitting for Joe Niekro as we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. Bass, a switch hitter, hitting, of course, from the left side against Gooden, hitting .254. Grounds one up the middle for a base hit.
Indeed, he did. A little breaking ball off Dwight Gooden. And Frank DePino will be the pitcher in the 6th inning. As Bill Doran steps up there, the doctor, a rarity, only 1 strikeout through the first 4 innings. He has walked 2, and that was the 4th base hit for the Astros. Doran walked back in the 3rd inning, a good at bat. Gosh, Gooden set such standards for himself, huh?
Well, now you hear things like, gee, he can even win when he doesn't have his good stuff.
Yeah, line drive, base hit, right field, Bass. Good play by Danny Heap. He got to that ball quickly, preventing Bass from going to 3rd. And the Astros, a good hitting ball club, have runners at 1st and 2nd and nobody out.
Hernandez almost gets this ball. Doran now has an 11-game hitting streak with this single. And as we've said so often, just to illustrate your point about Heap's play, good outfield play is not dependent upon the strength of one's arm. It's dependent upon how quickly the outfielder can get to the ball. That's what stops runners, and you saw Kevin Bass make a real short turn and hold up at 2nd.
Get to the ball, throw it, and you've done your job. And that's what Heap did. Dwight Gooden could be in a heap of trouble. Terry Poole, the batter. He's 0 for 2 on the evening. 4-1 Mets lead. Fastball misses. 1-0 to Terry Poole. He's grounded to 2nd, fly to left. Bass at 2nd, Doran at 1st. Good speed on the bases. Fastball misses, so it's 2-0. Gooden 5-1. He has 2 shutouts this year. 3 complete games. Grounded toward the right side. Backman can't get to it. Bass is trying to score. And he does. 4-2 ball game. Had Backman not been cheating for that double play, it's at least 1 out.
And even at that, Wally almost comes up with it. The ball actually hops right over his glove. Takes that Astro turf hop. Bass all the way from 2nd as the play is cut off by Hernandez with no chance to get him in an effort to keep the runner Doran at 2nd base. Here's Wally's effort on the play, and watch it take a little hop and go right over the thumb of his glove.
Kind of an unusual hop for artificial surface as the infield's in for the Mets to talk to Mel Stottlemyre, and the guys are thinking about bunting. Play back. No way this guy's going to be bunting. Maybe. That's what goes through your mind. No way, maybe, that he's going to be bunting.
A qualified statement if ever I heard one. Well, Walling's been their hottest hitter lately. 345 on the season. And I would imagine, although managers manage different ways.
And Bob Lillis was a player who lived by the bunch. You saw him call for that pitch out in the top of the 5th. So we'll see what he's going to do. Nobody out, 1st and 2nd. He is not bunting, and he takes a high heater. 1-0 to Dennis Walling.
I wonder, though, if the batter were right-handed, if he would have him bunting in this situation.
Possibly. RBI number 8, by the way, for Terry Poole. He's at 1st. And a breaking ball is inside. 2-0. The doctor 3-1 lifetime against the Astros. He's had a .92 ERA over his last 6 starts. Not been sharp tonight. Walling wants to think about it.
Denny Walling, one of 11 children, the 9th child in the family. And his folks in New Jersey looking in. His father, incidentally, quite ill, having suffered a heart attack and 2 strokes. And Denny wanted us to wish him all the best.
And that we do. That's a good fastball there. That's probably the best, hardest fastball that Dwight Gooden's thrown all night. He aired that one out. Six hits for the Mets, 6 hits for the Astros. The Mets have a 4-2 lead. Breaking ball towards second, could be 2. Just 1. Backman had a tough time with that ball. Ended up making a good play. Tough hop, 1 out, runners at the corners now.
Wally gets caught in between here a little bit, and again, this is a problem that players that don't really play on the turf very often, and certainly don't have in their home ballpark, really have in the infield. It's really tough when you don't play on this surface every day to instantly gauge those hops and get yourself in the right position. But Wally really did a good job to get an out.
That is well put, my friend. Jose Cruz, the batter. Jose is grounded out twice, once to third, once to second. Doran at third base, Walling at first, 1 out. Breaking ball is low, 1-0. Astros picked up Jose Cruz in 1974 for $20,000. About $2,000 a year, this being his 11th year. Popped up left side in foul territory. Knight may have a play and does. What a big out that was. 2 out. Baby.
Cruz goes after the pitch high and away, and now he's just hoping it gets out of play, but it doesn't. No wind is going to help it in this ballpark. And Knight had plenty of room. Going with runners at first and third, there were a lot of worse things that could have happened for the Mets.
Jerry Mumphrey, the batter, 2 out now. Fastball misses. Yeah, if wind helps a fly ball in this ballpark, we're all in trouble.
That's right. There's
Hurricane Beulah.
Big hole to root. And an 8-man made. Clear the decks.
Man. 1-0 to Mumphrey. Fouls it back. 1-1. The doctor looks like he's reached back to Dennis Walling, Jose Cruz, and now that fastball there. That's more like the fastball that we're used to seeing the doctor throw. Doran at third base. Walling at first, 2 out. One and 2.
It's not warm enough in here for Gooden, and he needs the extra time to get loose.
Didn't used to be the case in old Colt 45 Stadium.
Boy, I attended a couple of ball games over there. Fighting off the mosquitoes.
Fastball misses, so it's 2-2 to Jerry Mumphrey. Colt 45s until, at least Houston was the Colt 45s until 1965 when they moved into the Dome. Another foul ball, so it's still 2-2.
And the old ballpark was right out here in the parking lot.
Yeah, right. That infield was about as hard as it is right now, too.
How about those dugouts? Those were nice dugouts.
How about the mosquitoes?
Yes. You were constantly being buzzed by B-52s all during the game. Those mosquitoes like to hang out in the dugout, too.
Grounded towards second, and Gooden's going to get out of it. A good job of pitching by Dwight Gooden, as the Astros, with 3 straight hits to lead off the inning, score only 1. They strand 2. They've now stranded 6 through 5 and lead and trail.
Frank DiPino is the new pitcher for Houston, 1-4 with a 5.51 ERA, his 17th appearance. He's picked up 4 saves. In 16 1/3, he has walked 11, struck out 9, given up 2 home runs and 10 earned runs. And
Frank will be facing George Foster. Mets leading 4-2. Each team with 6 hits, an errorless ball game thus far. George entered the game batting .246, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs. Swing and a miss at a down and in slider. Those Atlanta Braves, drought continues. Hot and humid in Atlanta. It has been a tough time. They're losing 2-0, bottom of the 9th to the Phillies. Broken bat. What a play by Mumphrey. Good play, Jerry Mumphrey. That ball just hung and hung and hung. 1 out.
This bat is shattered right off the end of the bat. And that makes it even a tougher play for a center fielder, too, because a lot of times you react to the swing and you don't get as good a jump on a ball that you have to come a long way for. And Kevin Bass, who's now in there after pinch hitting, makes a fine catch.
So Kevin Bass was in there. As he stays in that number 9 hole, Frank DePino will bat 5th, and the batter Danny Heap. Danny hit his first home run of the year back in the 2nd inning. Mets have never been behind in this game. They have led 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 4-1, now 4-2. A lot of action for not a lot of runs. 2-0 to Heap.
Been a lot of guys on base, too. A lot of forced plays, walks.
3-0. Atlanta Braves entered tonight's contest against the Phillies, Carlton against Bedrosian. They had scored 2 runs over 54 innings. So now it's 2 runs in 62 innings. A long spell. 4 straight balls to Heap, and he's the base runner. Oh, what a job Danny Heap has done filling in for Strawberry.
Don't miss a hard-hitting talk with former Detective David Toma in a WOR-TV special, Taking the High Out of High School. Learn more about the problems of alcohol and drug abuse Tuesday, May 28th at 8:30 p.m. right here on Channel 9.
Ray Knight, the batter. He is 1 for 1, single and walked. Slider is high. 5 straight balls from Frank DePino. Good hit and run situation here. You can be sure that the pitcher's going to be around the plate. One of the prerequisites for that particular strategy. He does not have good speed at first base, I might add.
Pitched 5 innings, charged with 4 runs all earned, gave up 6 hits. He struck out 3 and walked 3, one of those intentionally.
And Joe Niekro has not beaten the Mets in a long time, since 1983. He was 0-1 at a 6.64. Let's do that again. A .64 ERA against the Mets last year. So he has pitched well, but has nothing to show for it. 3-0.
The natives are getting a little restless here in the Dome place.
Control has not been a problem for Frank. Struck out 65 last year. Why would you throw over there 3-0? He's not going anywhere. He walked only 36 in 75 innings. And he walks his 2nd in a row. 8 straight balls thrown by Frank DePino. And now here comes Jerry Walker, the pitching coach. Alan Ashby out there. Not a lot you can tell a pitcher in a situation like this. It appears, and I, of course, wasn't a pitcher, but saw the results of a lot of pitches as Bill Dawley goes down there. It appears that DePino's opening up a little bit too quick. Gosh, it could be just a minuscule thing that a pitcher's doing. It's the same thing with hitting. You throw a ball and hit a ball the same way. one of the real nuances in the game. The front shoulder stays in.
That's right.
The more compact the throwing position or the hitting position, the better you're going to be.
The more power you can generate, and generally the more accuracy you're going to have. Both in throwing the ball to a particular place and in putting the bat on the ball.
With authority. So the Mets have runners at first and second, one out. The batter, Rafael Santana. 1 for 2 is Rafi. This one almost hits him and gets by Ashby. 9 straight balls by Frank DePino.
Well, a wild pitch moves the runners over to second and third, still with only 1 out. And the 9th consecutive ball was the worst pitch yet. Heath goes to third, and Knight goes down to second as Ashby goes back to the screen. Garner in trying to pump him up.
So now the infield will be in. Dwight Gooden on deck. I'm a little surprised they're pitching to Santana now. Tap toward third. Garner will come home, and Danny Heap's a dead duck. So the strategy worked right there. I guess the reason they pitched to him, they couldn't be sure DePino would throw strikes.
Pounds it right down in front of the ground. Garner has to go up in the air, but still has plenty of time to throw out Heap. And that's a good play. Send the guy from third regardless in this situation. Ahead in the ball game. Only 1 out.
Got that right. Worst that can happen is you end up with first and third and 2 out. And that's the case.
Exactly what happened, right?
But in the process, you take a chance on scoring a run.
That's right. Ball might have been over Garner's head. He might have made a bad throw. All kinds of things.
Dwight Gooden pops one up right side. Second baseman Bill Doran has it. So Frank DePino dances through raindrops here in the Dome in the 6th inning. As the Mets go down, they did have a couple of walks, stranded a couple of guys, and after 5.5, they have the lead 4-2. Now here's a word from American Express.
I have no idea. Some sci-fi writer, I guess.
Okay.
What is a trippet?
Dwight
Gooden. You put a hot pot on the table.
Dwight Gooden has been terrific since he's come up here.
Trippet.
Phil Garner takes a fastball high.
You telling me that's the word terrific in Memphis?
That's right. Triffid, man.
Trippet.
Swing and a miss. 1-1 to Garner, who's perfect on the evening. He has walked and singled. Phil batting .269. Speaking of Tennessee, he's an Eastern Tennessee product. Went to the University of Tennessee. 2-1 to Phil.
You know, I've known Phil for about 10, 11 years, and he shaved that mustache off. I was talking to him in the palatial Houston clubhouse before the ball game about why he did it.
Ground ball, second base. Wally Backman sucks it up and throws him out. 1 out.
He says he grew the mustache when he was young to make himself look older. Now that he's older, he shaved it off so he'll look young again.
That's great. I like that. Oh, nice going.
But he does still have kind of a baby face without that mustache.
I think that's generally the thing. Teenagers want to look older, and olders want to look younger. They don't want to look like teenagers and can't.
No.
We can't, I might add. Alan Ashby, who singled his last time up. Single to center. He's also flied to center. 0-1 to Alan Ashby. 4-2. New York leads. And Alan Ashby took advantage of Ray Knight playing straightaway shortstop then.
They have almost got a shift on against Ashby.
They do.
Well, yeah, except that Santana really isn't over to the bag. They're playing him to pull. There's no doubt about it. Knight is playing a shallow shortstop.
And Ashby appropriately taking advantage of that. If he puts it down anywhere near third base, it's a base hit, even though Ashby can't run. That's the thing to do, though. If they're going to give it to you, take it.
Take what they give you.
0-2. Cut fastball is high. 1-2 to Alan Ashby. Gooden has struck out only 1. And he has walked a couple, given up 6 hits. Grounded toward first, a high chopper for Hernandez, 2 out.
To even further illustrate how different a game this is for Gooden, there have been a preponderance of ground ball outs, and usually when he pitches, that is not the case. Usually there are a lot of fly balls to the outfield and pop outs to the infield. He's gotten a lot of guys out, more so than usual, on the ground in this game.
To illustrate your point even further, 5 of the 6 hits have been on the ground. The only ball in the air, the double by Walling to left field. Here's Craig Reynolds. There's a fly ball. George Foster over. Mookie waving off George. And for the first time since the first inning, the Astros go in order. And after 6 innings of play here at the Dome, 4-2 New York. We'll be right back right after this word from Delta.
Mets leading 4-2, top of the order for the Mets, and back in to call it. Here's Ralph Kiner.
Okay, Steve Zabriskie, and it's Wally Backlund to lead off. Wally turned around to the right-hand side with the left-hander DePino in the ballgame. Wally with a base hit in 2 official times up. Also a big run batted in on a sacrifice fly. And DePino throws a fastball, gets a strike.
And that elicits some applause and cheers from the crowd in response to his first inning of relief work when he didn't throw too many strikes.
Ground ball to the shortstop, Craig Reynolds. The overhand throw will get him. And Backlund is out. Wally has not had a base hit batting right-handed this year. That was his 7th at bat, and it brings up Mookie Wilson, who also swings over to the right-hand side. Mookie 2 for 3 tonight. Had a big triple in the first, also singled in the 5th to drive in a run. With a breaking ball for ball 1.
Mookie's stolen base back in the 5th inning, his 11th of the year, was also his 200th career stolen base, and that is a milestone in effect. First Met ever to steal 200.
And it's chopped out to the second base side. A good play by Doran, who goes back into the shallow outfield area to make the ground ball pick up. Mookie's out.
Even on AstroTurf, you can't retreat too far with Mookie speed or he'll beat it. Doran, going away from the play all the time, got him by a comfortable margin.
So 2 men away, and now the batter will be Keith Hernandez. Keith drove in a run in the first inning with a sacrifice fly. Since then has walked twice. Keith brought a 4-game hitting streak into this game, and the breaking ball is missed. Mets leading by a score of 4-2. We're in the top of the 7th, 2 men away. And a slice base hit to left field for Keith Hernandez. That extends his hitting streak, and the Mets have a runner on with 2 men away.
Here's what's happening in the rest of the National League. Pittsburgh beat San Francisco 3-2 today. Cincinnati has defeated Montreal 2-1 to give the Mets a little help. In the 8th inning, Philadelphia leading Atlanta 2-0. The Braves have yet to score. Later it'll be St. Louis at San Diego and Chicago at Los Angeles.
And now the batter is Gary Carter. Mets started their action 2 games up in Montreal. So if they can win here tonight, they'll increase their lead to 3. Carter looks for ball 1. Gary struck out twice against Joe Niekro, both times on knuckleballs, also flied to center field. And the fastball for ball 2. Pino relief of Joe Niekro. Working his 2nd inning, he has given up 1 base hit. Came in with a record of 1 win, 4 losses, and 4 saves. Very high ERA of 5.51. Of course, you can toss the ERA out on relief pitchers. Most of the runs they allow go on somebody else's record. And the fastball high for ball 3.
Whether their ERA is high or low, right, Ralph? Also, this early in the year, relief pitchers really haven't put in enough innings, although they may have a lot of appearances, to really have that be an accurate figure inning.
3-0 pitch. Carter was hitting away, but he takes for ball 4. Third walk given up by DePino. It moves Hernandez down to scoring position. And now with runners at first and second base, the batter will be George Foster. Foster 0 for 3 tonight. And a half swing. It's in the dirt, foul tipped, and the count strike 1. George almost had a base hit his last time up, but he shattered his bat, hit a little looper in the center field, but Kevin Bass made a good running catch on it. And that one bounced to the home plate. Foster swings at it.
The way DePino's been throwing, I would think you'd have to be inclined to go up there early in the count and take a couple of pitches, but Foster swung at 2 balls in the dirt.
And that was a fastball from a left-hander. You wonder what George was looking for. So Foster deep in the hole with a 2-strike count. And the curveball hit hard to short. Reynolds has it. The throw to Doran retires the side. No runs, 1 hit, a walk, and 2 men left on base. The score at the end of 6.5 innings. The Mets 4, Houston 2. Now here's a word from Nissan. Don't forget, fans, Cap Day is Sunday afternoon, May 19th, when the Mets take on the Giants at 1:35. But if you plan on attending that event, you better act quickly. This year, the Mets are cooperating along with Baby Ruth and Butterfinger, and they're giving all fans a very special cap. It's all white with Mets inscript across the crown. And the cap cannot be purchased at Shea or at any sporting goods store. Almost all reserve seating is sold out for the game next Sunday, and general admission tickets are on sale right now at Shea's advanced ticket window. That's white caps from the Mets and Baby Ruth and Butterfinger. Sunday afternoon, the Mets against the Giants at Shea. And Kevin Bass takes strike 1. Bass was a pinch hitter back in the 5th inning, led off the inning with a single to center field, and then stayed in the ballgame. Dwight Gooden on the mound for the Mets. The 1-strike pitch. Fastball foul back out of play. So Gooden reached now for 2 runs on 6 hits. He has struck out only 1, his first batter in the ballgame. And he has walked 2. 2-strike pitch. Misses with a fastball, 1-2.
Tim McCarver ever looking for the good or bad pun, for that matter. He comes up with, shall we throw a hook to Bass and see if he bites?
And he has not thrown a hook. He threw him a straight line. And it's fouled back out of play.
Or, you know, if a sinker baller was in there, you could try to get him with a sinker. It's a good thing Steve Trout's not here. That's all I got to say.
And a line shot, diving catch by Santana. Outstanding play by Rafael Santana.
Made even more difficult by the fact that Santana went to his backhand side. He had to dive to the right to make the play. Stayed with it. Came up with it. Outstanding reaction and athletic ability.
So Bass lines out and 1 away, and that'll bring up Bill Duran. Bill in this game 1 for 2, and the curveball bouncing away. Well, we got a second here. I'd be remiss in not wishing a happy birthday to my wife Diane on her birthday.
And I will concur in that. Lovely Diane here with us in Houston.
Here's a 1-0 pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. drive to right field. Going back as deep. He can't get to it. One bounce off the wall. And a two-base hit.
Well, Bill Doran has been red hot. An 11-game hitting streak. He hit 370 over the previous 10 games. And tonight, this is his second base hit. Danny Heap had no chance and played the ball very well off the wall as he barehands it. Doran with a stand-up double.
And action starting in the bullpen for the Mets as Jesse Orozco starts to throw. Second extra base hit for Houston, the other going to Dennis Wally. That brings up Terry Poole, who has a base hit and 3 times up. Mets leading 4-2, 1 man out. We're in the bottom half of the 7th. And a curveball and a good one. This has probably been one of Gooden's worst performances. He has not had the good fastball, and he has not been able to get his curveball over. Still leads in the ball game 4-2. And a good fastball there, and it's strike 2.
One thing that Dwight has shown since day one when he came up to the major leagues last year, and that is he does have the ability to bear down. We saw it happen earlier in the game when Houston had runners on base in the 5th and the 4th inning as well, when Gooden seemed to reach back for some extra.
Sign of a great pitcher, and in this ball game, Houston with 7 hits. That's more than he has given up this year in any single ball game. And he misses with a curveball. That's 1 ball and 2 strikes. And in the bullpen, Dolly. Bill Dolly throwing in the bullpen. And that pitch, a fastball, and it's fouled away.
Poole was recently honored as Canada's #1 baseball product. They honored Canadians in each sport, as you look at Denny Walling on deck. And Poole was awarded the Canadian Baseball Award.
And a good curveball, but just out of the strike zone, 2-2. For years, that award went to Ferguson Jenkins, a great Canadian pitcher. Runner at second base. And a fastball under the chin. It's 3-2.
A little chin music one time. The high rider was inside, and boy, I'll tell you, in that slow motion replay, you could see that ball go up.
So Terry Poole with a full count at 3-2 after a close shave. Fastball hit into center field. Mookie deep in center, comes up on it, can't get to it. And a run will score. Mookie saw a rainbow into home plate. And going down with a tying run to second base is Terry Poole. Bad play by Mookie Wilson.
Mookie got a late break on this ball, and then I think he might have lost it. Because rarely does Mookie pull up on a ball. I don't think he knows where it is for a moment, and when he finally sees it, it's too late for him to make a play on the ball. But this is a mistake. You have got to throw the ball to the cutoff man in that situation. And Mookie threw that ball all the way to home plate. Carter came out a ways to cut it off. But you cannot let Poole go to second base as Doran chugs around and scores to make it a 4-3 Mets lead. But more importantly, the throw to home sent the tying run into scoring position as Poole is at second.
And now Davey Johnson out to the mound, and it appears he's going to take Gooden out of the ball game. Throw home was a waste of time. Throw should have gone into second base. And here comes Jesse Orozco.
Maybe Tim McCarver can look this up in his pitching book, but I don't know that Gooden has been removed this year during an inning.
So Dwight Gooden goes out of the ball game. He's been reached for 3 runs with another that would go on his record if it does score, the runner at second base. He has given up 8 hits. He struck out only 1, and he walked 2.
Dwight goes 6 1/3. And that is his second briefest outing of the year. His shortest appearance was his first game opening day against the Cardinals when he pitched 6 innings, getting a no decision in the ball game, eventually won by the Mets in the 10th on Carter's home run. Since then, he has had no fewer than 7 innings in any one ball game, and this is the first time that he has had to have been taken out of a ball game during an inning. And I knew Tim would have that.
Orozco making his 12th appearance. He has a record of 1 win, 1 loss. He also has picked up 4 saves.
Here's what's happening in the American League today and tonight. Oakland just pounded the heck out of Milwaukee, 19-3. Looks like a football score. Texas and the Yankees are tied 5-5 in the 7th. In the 8th inning, Toronto leads California 5-3. Also in the 8th, Seattle leading Boston 5-1. In the 7th, Kansas City out in front of Cleveland 2-1. In the 4th inning, it's Chicago leading the Orioles 1-0. And in the 5th, Minnesota leads Detroit 2-0.
And the 1 strikeout total by Dwight Gooden in this ball game, the lowest he has ever had in his major league career. 3 times he struck out only 3 in a ball game, all 3 times against the St. Louis Cardinals. Last year he led Major League Baseball in strikeouts with 276. So Dwight out of the ball game as Orozco relieves him with a time run at second base, and the batter will be Dennis Walling. Now, Walling has been called back, and it's going to be Enos Cabell.
Walling a left-handed hitter, and Cabell, of course, swings from the right side. Enos hitting .246, no homers, 4 RBIs. He's 2 for 7 as a pinch hitter with 3 pinch hit RBIs.
And that runner at second base represents a time run in the ball game. Mets leading 4-3. And Orozco starts off with a breaking ball and misses for ball 1. Jesse with an earned run average of 2.50.
Ralph, 1 out, a left-handed pitcher on the mound, and Poole, who runs well, might be inclined to steal third base.
And the breaking ball back, a called strike. Carter, the Met catcher, has thrown out 13 runners attempting to steal out of the 29 that have tried. One and one the count. And that one just does miss, and the count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. Mets led 2-0 in this ball game, then led 2-1, then they led 4-1. Now they have seen their lead dissipate to 4-3 with a potential time run at second. 1 man out, bottom half of the 7th inning. Orozco faking the throw at second base, no one covering. Now the 2-1 pitch, and a good breaking ball for strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
This is one of Jesse's patented breaking balls right here. Drops right in there.
So Jesse with a count at 2-2. Back with a fastball, and that was a good one. Strikeout for Jesse Orozco, and he got him swinging with a fastball.
And a big strikeout it is. Fastball might have grazed the outside corner, but Cabell went out and tried to get it. Now 2 out with the tying run at second.
And the dangerous Jose Cruz, the batter. Jose 0 for 3. Second in the league in base hits with a total of 43. Batting average at .333. And Orozco with a fastball. He doesn't get the call on the pitch that was close, and it's ball 1. Hankovich is the on-deck batter. Jim Pankovich. Harry Poole, the runner at second base, and now the curveball misses. The count 2 balls and no strikes. Bob Lillis, the manager of the Houston Astros, played for Houston back in 1962. Good fastball. The count 2-1. Osco just challenges Jose Cruz.
Jesse dropping down and just firing that ball. Strength against strength.
2 balls, 1 strike. Cruz, a lifetime 287 hitter. Good curveball, and the count now 2-2. Cruz leads the club in RBIs with his 20. Look at this pitch.
Boy, some break on that ball. Not only going clear across the plate, breaking down in a way. Jesse can really be tough on left-handed hitters.
He has to be in this situation with a tying run at second base. 2-2 pitch goes to the curve. Did he swing? They appeal to third base umpire. Nick Stello, he said no.
Well, you be the judge. Again, the big sweeping breaking ball.
Boy, he did swing.
I'd have punched him right out of there.
Good break for Jose Cruz. Oh, those hands, those wrists got through.
If I were an umpire, Ralph, I'd use the criterion that if you offer at the pitch in an attempt to hit it, you've swung it.
Back with a curve. That'll do it. Jesse Orozco strikes out 2. And that ends the inning. 1 run on 2 hits, 1 left at second base, and the score at the end of 7. The Mets 4, Houston 3. Now here's a word from your Tri-State Chevrolet dealers. Mets leading by a score of 4-3 as they come up here in the top of the 8th inning. Mets 4 runs on 7 hits, no errors. The Astros 3 runs on 8 hits and no errors, and Danny Heap the batter. Danny with a home run, his first of the year, back in the 2nd. And in this game, he is 1 for 2 with a walk. And the first pitch is called strike. The left-hander is Tom Gorman. And the right-hander there is Gardner, Wes Gardner. 1 strike pitch. A little bit low in the count, 1 ball and 1 strike.
With that home run tonight, Danny has now driven in 10 runs in the last 14 games in which he's played. So he's really helped to take up the slack with Strawberry's injury.
And there's ball 2 in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. And ball 3, 3 balls and a strike. Danny Heap, a former Houston Astro. And he rips a fastball to right field for a base hit. So Heap, who got his 14th career home run in his first appearance, singles here in the 8th inning. The Mets have a run around with no one out. And the batter will be Ray Knight.
Well, the Mets obviously would like a little insurance to take into the bottom of the 8th and 9th inning and get the leadoff batter on. It's a start in the right direction in that regard.
Ray Knight, batting for the 4th time, has singled and walked twice. So he's had a perfect night tonight. And a strike call off the fastball. Knight didn't like the call. Hey, what do you care, man? Mets have always had trouble with Houston. In Houston, they have a record of only 53 wins to Houston's 105.
And And they're not the only club that has had a losing record in this place. Such a different ballpark than most of the rest of the National League.
Drive out to left field. High fly ball. Jose Cruz puts it away. Danny Heap, who had tagged up at first base, holds there. And Knight is out for the first time tonight. That'll bring up Rafael Santana. Rafael with a base hit in 3 appearances. Perfectly executed hit and run play back in the 5th inning.
It was a beauty with Ray Knight at first after Knight opened the inning with a walk. Santana went with a pitch, hit behind the runner, and went into right field with the runners at first and third.
That extended his hitting streak to 5 consecutive ball games. And a ground ball up the middle, fielded, but not fielded as the ball takes an up hop by Reynolds, the shortstop, and we'll see how that's scored. That could have been a double play ball.
It looked like the ball hit the seam right at the edge of the sliding pit where the turf is cut out and the dirt is. Watch this. Boing. And boy, when it hit that dirt, it went right straight up over his shoulder. Ball hit right on the edge. Just ate him up.
And they're going to score that as a base hit, a bad hop base hit on what could have been a very good double play ball for Houston. Houston has made 1 double play in this game, and they've made 42 so far this year. That'll bring up Jesse Orozco. Runners at first and second. Houston looking for the sacrifice, 1 man away. Orozco's not a bad hitting pitcher. And he takes low.
Boy, I tell you, Garner and Cabell were so close to Orozco, they could have shaken hands.
Well, Houston putting on the rotation play, having the shortstop cover at third and charging with the third baseman. Orozco's a good enough hitter that they can switch over.
This is only Jesse's second at bat this season.
Outfield also very shallow. Here come the corners, and he swings away, bounces up the middle, a base hit. Coming around is Heap. The throw to the plate is in time, and Heap is out. Danny Heap arguing he got into the plate before the tag, and here comes Davy Johnson. A short argument by Davy Johnson as we look at it again.
Jesse beats the drawn-in infield with a single up the middle, and initially the throw from center fielder Kevin Bass looked like it was going to be offline, but Ashby stayed right with it and got back in there very quickly. Very, very close play. Danny Heap saying that he got his half of the plate and got in there before Ashby got back with the ball. Here comes Danny, and you see him sliding to the outside, and boy, that's a close play. Bruce Fremming right there making a very quick and emphatic call.
Well, Danny Heap unhappy with that call. It looked like he did get into me. Got his feet on that corner of the plate as we look at it from this angle.
Watch where the tag is. The tag is up on his leg. Danny appears to be on the plate, and then Ashby tags him higher up near the knee.
Strange part about that play, the catcher still has his mask on. Can't believe that. So Heap is thrown out at home on the good throw and the call by home plate umpire Bruce Fremming. The good throw by Kevin Bass. On the play, Santana moved down to second base. And now the batter will be Calvin Chapman, who is batting for Wally Backman. First pitch a called strike.
Chapman hitting only 156 on the year. No homers and 4 RBIs. 1 for 5 with an RBI as a pinch hitter.
Runners at first and second base. The Mets leading 4-3 as they bat here in the top of the 8th inning. Big call at home plate. And a ball that puts the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Chapman batting for Wally Backman. Wally in the ball game had a base hit and 3 official times up. Also drove in a run with a sacrifice fly. And it's low again. The count 2 balls and 1 strike. Frank DePino on the mound in relief of Joe Nico, who lasted 5 innings. DePino has not given up a run, but he has lived dangerously. And Chapman pulls it foul, grounds it into the stands. The count 2-2. In the 6th inning, as you look at Santana going back to second base and Orozco on at first, DePino walked 2 but got out of that one. In the 7th, he gave up a base hit and a walk but got out of that one. And here in the 8th inning, he has given up 3 hits, and the Mets have not scored. Two and two the count. Hit in the hole, a diving try by Garner. He can't make the play. Santana comes in, and he scores. The Mets lead 5-3. Big pinch hit by Chapman, and the Mets pick up a good run.
And a big run it is, Ralph, in a 1-run ball game to take that extra run into the last 2 innings with the home at bat. Boy, I'll tell you, talk about a C&I base hit. That's just out of the reach. Cruz had an idea about making a throw to the plate, but he was a little bit off balance when he picked up the ball. Here we'll see it again, and boy, you'll really get an idea as to how he threaded the needle. Just by Garner, just by Reynolds. And what a big RBI for Chapman, his 5th RBI of the year. Make it his 4th. Nope, his 5th.
So that is all for DePino. Goes out of the ball game with 1 run charged against his record. And the new pitcher in the ball game for the Houston Astros.
It's Bill Dawley.
I was going to say last year had a good record for the Astros, 11-4 with 5 saves.
Off to a slow start this year, as is the case for many of the Houston relief pitchers. 0-2, a 4.74 ERA. His 12th appearance, he's picked up 1 save. He's worked 19 innings, allowing 10 earned runs, 3 homers, walked 12, and struck out 11.
And Dolly will be working to Mookie Wilson as his first batter.
Don King presents 3 action-packed bouts featuring the nation's top boxers. June 6th at 8 o'clock, it's D-Day Dynamite. I love these names they come up with for these boxing shows. D-Day Dynamite. The best fight night of the year right here on Channel 9, June 6th. D-Day.
And that is Calhoun throwing in the bullpen. Jeff Calhoun for the Houston Astros.
DePino went 2 2/3 innings. He's still responsible for the base runners, charged with 1 run on 4 hits. He did not strike out a batter. He walked 3 and threw a wild pitch.
And Mookie Wilson, the batter. Mookie with a triple and a single and 3 official plate appearances. He takes a fastball, strike 1. Mookie with a solo base back in the 5th inning, now has 200 in his major league career. Curveball ripped down the right field side foul. Right back into that second deck. Make it the 3rd deck. Mookie's triple in the 1st inning set up the Mets run. Driven in by Keith Hernandez. He drove in a run with a single in the 5th inning, a 2-out single. Now batting with runners at 1st and 2nd, and Dolly with a curveball. And they count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mookie did not play against Houston when they played at Shea Stadium. Each team winning a ball game in a 2-game series. And Dolly misses with a fastball, and the count 2-2. Fastball hit to the shortstop Reynolds, who goes to second base just in time to pick up the force play on Chapman. That ends the inning. But the Mets pick up 1 run on 4 hits. As we look at the replay again, close at second.
Chapman with good speed and, of course, hustling all the way, but he was up.
And the Mets leave 2 men on base to score at the end of 7.5 innings. The Mets 5, Houston 3. Zabriskie.
Thanks, Ralph. And Jim Pankovitz will lead it off, pinch hitting for the pitcher, Bill Thorley. Kelvin Chapman stays in the game and plays second base, having hit for Backman. Pankovitz is a pinch hitter, 4 for 6 with an RBI, overall hitting .294. Pops it up. Carter has a play in foul territory. Stays with it, 1 away. I'll tell you, it's there may not be any wind or sun to contend with in here, but it is not a routine play on a pop-up.
And Carter, one of the best in the business at this, makes the call for it, and they leave him alone, and he makes the catch. For years, people thought they had a wind machine in this place, and it blew out only when Houston was batting.
There's Phil Garner. Scrap iron 1 for 2 plus a walk. Single to center back in the second. 1 out and nobody on. 5-3. New York leads it here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Orozco in relief of Dwight Gooden, who pitched 6 1/3 and left on the winning side of the ledger. Right in there. 1-1. Garner has singled, walked, and grounded out. Got fooled, and it's 1-2.
Since he shaved off that mustache, we finally got a chance to see what he looks like.
Well, that was some mustache, wasn't it?
Had the handlebar job.
He had that for 13 years. He wore that mustache. Dave Smith in the bullpen for the Astros will undoubtedly be the next pitcher.
There's a new way to clean off home plate.
That's so Bruce doesn't have to bend over, so he just kicks the dirt off. It looks like he and Carter are still having a bit of a conversation. Well hit to left field. Foster going back on the track. He's got it. Garner put a charge in it, but even though they have brought the fences in here, you still have to really get all of a ball to get it out.
Well, this is what they call warning track power. Hit it well, but not well enough, and Foster with the grab, 1 away. Make that 2 men away.
And now here's Alan Ashby. Ashby switching around to the right-hand side after facing Gooden the first 3 times, batting left-handed. Ashby 1 for 3 against Gooden. He had a single to center in the 4th inning. 2 out, nobody on here in the bottom of the 8th. A 5-3 New York lead. Jesse looking for save number 5. Foul back. Strike 1.
Houston with 2 catchers that are switch hitters. It's rather unusual. Mark Bailey and Alan Ashby.
It's outside 1-1. Bailey has some power too. He is a switch hitter with power.
Yeah, he was their power man last year. He had 7 home runs. 7 of the Houston's 18 home runs here in the Astrodome.
Two and 1 to Alan Ashby. Foul back again. 2-2. Ashby hitting .268. Has not been playing a whole lot. In fact, really, Bailey's been playing more than Ashby, but Bailey not hitting only .211. So Bob Lillis trying to find the guy behind the plate that will put some offensive charge into things. And Jesse gets them 1-2-3 here in the 8th to pick up his 3rd strikeout. He has retired 5 in a row. All 5 he has faced since relieving Gooden in the 7th. And we'll go to the 9th here at Houston with the Mets out in front 5-3. Through the 4th of the evening, no record, a 4.76 ERA. He has picked up 2 saves in his 9 previous appearances. He's pitched 11 1/3 innings, given up 6 earned runs, 1 home run, walked 5, and struck out 6. And he'll be facing here in the 9th inning Keith Hernandez, Gary Carter, and George Foster. The Mets lead at 5-3. 5 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Mets. 3 runs, 8 hits, and no errors for Houston. Hernandez 1 for 1 plus 2 walks and a sacrifice fly that drove in a run in the 1st inning. Strike 1. Keith now with a 5-game hitting streak, along with 19 RBIs on the year to lead the Mets. Sounds like he broke his bat as he rolls one to Reynolds, and there's 1 out. And here's Gary Carter. Carter 0 for 3 plus a walk, has struck out twice.
You were pointing out at the start of the broadcast that Roger McDowell had retired 14 consecutive batters. Well, the Mets are on a streak. 21 consecutive batters have been retired by the relief pitchers.
That's outstanding. Strike 1 to Carter.
Jesse in this ball game has retired 5. And there were 2 retired before in a previous ball game.
Mets overall staff ERA coming into this ball game over the last 8 games 1.14. That'll go up a little bit with the 3 runs being scored by Houston, all earned.
Wes Gardner had retired 2 in a row, and then the 14, and now 5.
Pitching has been outstanding for New York. 1-1 to Carter. Did he hold up? No, says first base umpire Bob Davidson. So the appeal makes it 1 ball, 2 strikes, and Carter glares down at Davidson.
Well, here's the one on Carter. He didn't break his wrist. To me, that's the answer to it. If your wrists go beyond the point of breaking, then you have made a swing at the ball. If you keep your wrists cocked and they don't break, no matter how far you go with the arms, it doesn't make any difference.
Grounded foul, and it's still 1-2. There is really no standardization because different umpires appear, at least, to look at that play quite differently. That judgment call. There's Jesse on the bench with that left arm jacketed.
Years ago, they did not appeal the play, and I liked it better in those days.
Of course you did, as a hitter.
I mean, the umpire behind home plate ought to be able to call it.
Foul back. Carter looked like he hurt himself on that swing. Of course, he's already hurting just about everywhere he can.
Take a look at the swing here of Gary Carter on. See him grimace. Looked like he pulled a leg muscle right there as he reaches into the hamstring area.
A little hammy there. Catchers are more susceptible to that because of the fact that they squat so much during the game. Too high. And the count now 2-2. Carter's average down to 235, but he has been driving in the runs. 11 RBIs in the last 9 games. Ripped foul outside of third, still 2-2. The kid from Culver City now lives on the east coast of Florida. Calhoun goes ahead with the pitch, even though Carter asked for and received time from home plate umpire Bruce Fromm. Looked like Gary got something in his eye just as Calhoun was ready to pitch. off again.
Interesting call when he went ahead and delivered the pitch that was not a regular pitch. He threw a curveball. Then he switched and they came back when the regular pitch was put in play with a fastball. That's how you catch foul balls here in this ballpark.
One of the Houston writers doing a little dry land fishing. Well hit to center field. Bass going back has a beat on it. 2 away. Carter lines out. And with 2 out and nobody on, the hitter will be George Foster. Foster's 0 for 4. He's grounded out, struck out, flied out, and grounded into an inning-ending force play. George hitting .233. Ground ball to short. Scooped up by Reynolds, and an easy 1-2-3 inning for Calhoun in his relief appearance as he gets the Mets in order. And Jesse Orozco and the New York Mets will take a 2-run 5-3 lead into the bottom of the 9th here in Houston. After this, from your Tri-State Chevrolet dealer.
Take on the Houston Astros tomorrow night at 8:30 right here on Channel 9. The best seat in the house.
Right-handed hitting Dickie Thon will pinch hit for left-handed hitting shortstop Craig Reynolds here in the bottom of the 9th. 5-3 New York leading. Thon hitting only .218. No homers, 2 RBIs. He's 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter. And of course, back playing after that near disastrous accident here last year in the Dome when Mike Torres unleashed a fastball that rode in on Dickie and caught him right outside the left eye.
It was in the 6th game of the season last year.
Strike called, 1-1. Thon from Puerto Rico, looked upon before the accident as one of the real up-and-comers in baseball. Good fastball from Jesse, and it's 1-2. Orozco in relief of Gooden. White going 6 1/3. Jesse trying to nail down Gooden's 6th victory and pick up his 5th save. Just outside, 2-2.
Dickie Thon was almost a New York Met. Joe McDonald had made a deal for Thon along with another ball player from the California Angels for Craig Swan. The other ball player was Willie Aikens.
Kevin Bass, the on-deck hitter, hitting in the number 9 spot. He'll be followed by Bill Doran.
This is G. Rollet, who owned the ball club. Nixed the deal the next day.
Foul out of play, and it's still 3-2. Well, the Astros were glad they got him from California. And he may yet return to the form that he was showing prior to that accident. Talked to him before the game. He said he feels fine and he's seeing perfectly. He doesn't really have any problem. Didn't see that pitch. And Jesse has struck out 4 in 3 innings of work.
He gets him with a fastball that might have been high. Borderline pitch, and Thon struck out. Jesse now has retired 6 in a row.
Actually, only 2 full innings of work so far for Jesse, as he pitched 2/3 in the 7th. Kevin Bass is 1 for 2. He singled to center and scored in the 5th, and then lined to short on a fine diving play by Rafael Santana in the 7th. Ball 1. Popped up and playable. Kelvin Chapman drifting into short right field. Stay with us. Well, I'll tell you, it gets up in the grid here of the Astrodome, and it comes and goes in and out of your sight. 2 out in the 9th inning. Then here's leadoff batter Bill Doran. Doran 2 for 3 plus a walk. Struck out against Gooden to open the bottom half of the 1st inning. Walked in the 3rd, and then he singled to right in the 5th inning and doubled to right and scored in the 7th. 2 out, bottom of the ninth. The Mets lead it 5-3. Nobody on, and now Doran asks for time. Mets relief pitchers have now retired 23 batters in a row. And it's a strike to Doran. 0-1. Doran went 170 consecutive chances without making an error at second base until last night against Montreal. Breaking ball, strike 2. Jesse has really looked sharp. He has struck out 4 and retired 7 in a row so far. And he's ahead of Doran, 0-2. Mets win. Jesse Orozco strikes out 5 in 2 2/3 innings of relief work. The Mets relief pitchers have retired 24 batters in a row over the last 3 appearances. Orozco picks up his 5th save. And Dwight Gooden is the winner. Now 6-1 on the year. Dwight going 6 1/3 innings. Jesse the final 2 2/3. Joe Niekro, the Houston starter, is the loser. He is now 2 4. And the Mets continue on a roll. And with the loss by Montreal tonight, they lead the Expos by 3 full games in the National League East. Ralph and I'll be back to wrap it up, and Timmy will have an interview, so stay with us here in the Astrodome, where the Mets have taken the first of this 2-game series 5-3. Now, here's a word from Busch Beer.